Living the life.
Joining us in the show are two people who will be participating in the Muslim charity Palestine Marathon. We have a scientist, we have a teacher, entrepreneur, Sid Shah, who has a popular radio show called Science with Sid. Looking forward to that. And last but not least, we've got filmmaker Abrar Hussain, who's going to be talking to us about his new film, which is going to be released this Ramadan. So watch out for that.
That sounds really exciting and quite diverse guests as well.
I know, we've got a scientist.
Yep.
We've got
runners and a filmmaker. That's interesting. That is what we're bringing you right here on Living the Life. Nowhere else. Nowhere else when you find this sort of lineup. But before we call our first guest to sit on our wonderful sofas, we've got a little clip that explains the importance of creating new fundraise to be teaching our children science. So let's have a look at that.
I feel that Femtinos' strengths are that it caters for all the children's needs. It's not just sit down, read, write. It's more practical, role play. So it covers all the different types of learning. I chose Femtinos as it's regular, and that's what I feel my children need.
My grandson is absolutely delighted. He comes home extremely happy. He feels that he's learnt, and that's the biggest thing that he loves to do. He just wants to learn more and more.
The thing I like about science is discovering things about like the universe and also the fact that it led to all these inventions and that saved lives.
I like doing science here because you can use more equipment than you can at home.
Like, I like trying to do experiments at home, but they never really work out well enough. So it's nice to come and actually do something.
Very good. You know, I did a chemistry degree. I am a scientist. Never practiced,
amazing.
But I did do a science degree.
So you must be excited about
I am. I really am. Scientist here, because you know what? There's a periodic table sitting right in front of me. There's white lab coats. This is all reminiscing about 20 years ago is when I last did this kind of stuff.
Am I going to be testing you on
I hope not. I hope not. Let's not do that. What I remember is hydrogen and helium, and that's about. I get stuck after that. Oxygen and carbon. Anyway, our first guest can answer all of this because our first guest is the radio host of Science with Sid, and she's also the founder of Femtinos, which is a provider of creative, educational, fun and interactive STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics workshops. Please welcome to the show, Sid Shah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you very much for being here. And I know that Bassett is very excited. I won't test you on the periodic table because that would be quite mean, won't it? So Sid, as you're known, we didn't introduce the other guest on us so far.
There are actually two guests. So we've got Sid and we've got a half-complete body, which is Fred.
This is Fred.
This is Fred. Fred is with us right now.
Hi, Fred.
It's Fred's first time in Ilford today, so it's his first time on TV as well, so he's very excited.
It's a great place to be. I think Fred's very welcome in Ilford. This is normally the effect of eating in our restaurants in Ilford is ending up like that. all those spices just explode and you can see half the face has blown away. That's what's happened.
Fred's quite interesting and he's wearing a very interesting lab coat. But you did give a sneak peek of what's behind the coat.
What's behind Fred. So Fred we use for our human body workshop. So this is Fred. Look at his human body. So he is life size. So this is the size of your organs that you have in a fully grown adult. And your heart is the size of your fist. So that is the size of your heart.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I always remember seeing these in my school, but we're never allowed to touch it or interact with it. When you work with your young people, do they really get involved? They get the squishy bits out, figure out what that bit is?
Yeah, so Fred is used as a demo, but they put him back together again at the end. And then we've got smaller human bodies which have got squishy organs, and they get to work in pairs and actually get to take out all the organs and put them back together again. Yeah. But then we do offer actual dissection days for kids as well, as young as 8, where they've dissected eyeballs.
What do they
lungs.
Dissect? What kind of...
They're animals. So
what kind of animals?
Cows and lamb and stuff. So they've done hearts, eye,
They're all
lungs.
dead, I presume. Yeah, right.
But the eye was really interesting.
What fun.
The eye was really interesting because I've never dissected an eye at school. To be fair, I didn't do any dissections at school. Yeah. But the eyeball, when you come to kind of pierce it, all this black liquid squirts out, and they were really fascinated by it. And there was me going, ooh.
It is fascinating.
I don't remember doing dissections in school.
They don't do them very often.
We don't do it because I know in American films you always see there's always like a frog or something, but we don't do it here.
No.
Why is that?
I think it's health and safety issues, and the classes are really big as well, class of 30, so they tend to not do it. But we took kids as young as 8, and they were really excited by it. So it's just getting them excited about becoming surgeons in the future and becoming doctors.
That must be quite exciting. Tell us a little bit about Femtinos, and we'll talk about this really exciting stuff in front of us. Where did Femtinos come from? Why did you start Femtinos?
So I started Femtinos 9 years ago, and it was to encourage a love of learning in kids. As we grow older, our creativity kind of starts to disappear. Yeah. And I felt it when I was growing up as well, that I loved the arts and I loved textiles, but as I was growing older, I felt that bit of me kind of disappearing. So Femtinos was about keeping education alive, keeping learning alive, and making it fun and engaging for kids. So since 9 years ago, we've delivered to 10,000 kids and families and parents and individuals. So it's been an exciting journey.
So where did your kind of journey begin? What's your passion behind science?
So I loved art and textiles. That's what I did at A-levels, and I did physics and maths as well. And then when it came to deciding what to do at university, I was torn between the two. I loved doing art, but then I also thought if I do art at uni, I'm going to lose the physics and maths. So I decided to do theoretical physics and applied maths. I did 4 years. I've got masters.
Why not?
Like you do.
Mashallah. Congratulations for that, though.
But that's quite unique because most people who are scientists are very kind of theoretical or very matter of fact.
Yeah.
But you've got this kind of, well, it's quite unique skill set here because you've got a creative side, which is the arts and textiles, but you're also very strong on your science side.
But I think if you look back in history, all of the major scientists were polymaths. They did do the arts, they did do the science. It's only now we're made to choose between the two. Yeah. And I think it's a right shame that kids grow up and they lose the arts.
And they think you're one or the other, but actually, historically, you're saying it was...
Yeah, so if you look at all the scientists, all of them did astronomy, they did maths, but they also loved drawing and they loved the arts as well, so it's a combination.
Of course, if you're going to be doing biology, you need to be somewhat arty to be able to draw the bits.
Can you imagine drawing the intestines? And
I mean, that would be the easiest bit, like...
It's just scribbles. There, that would do.
Yeah, that would do.
But I think we've got computers at our fingertips. Back then, they didn't have that, so they had to be able to record everything by drawing as well, so they had to be good artists.
Of course, you make science fun, and me and Bassett were playing around with this earlier. This...
Yes. It's really exciting.
Interesting device. Oh, I just... OK, tell me about this. What is this?
So this is an electric stick, and we use this to explain circuits to kids. So kids that are quite young, they don't learn about what circuits actually do when they're at primary level. So we do this by making a circuit. So if you're going to do it, aren't you?
Just for the camera, so the camera can see. But let's do this. So you're going to touch it there.
Yep.
And I'm going to hold it.
So if you hold that hand there. The other hand.
Does it have to be this hand?
No, it doesn't have to, because we're going to make the switch. So we're going to make the switch.
At the moment, we're not touching.
So we're the wire. When we close that switch, we have a complete circuit.
And that suddenly just picked up pace. What did you guys do?
So we can involve Bassett now as well, can't we?
Yeah, so anything which conducts. So we're conductors because we've got a lot of water inside of us, so the current's travelling over our skin. But if I give you this watch, and that's made up of metal, so if you guys hold that, and if you hold onto that,
go on.
And then we close the switch again.
Oh, brilliant!
Made a circuit.
There you go. I can see why. I mean, I could just do this all show now.
Dude.
I want to put more things. With a mug.
No, it won't work with the mug, so we can try it with the mug.
Ah,
it doesn't work.
It's not metal.
Let's try one more time, just because I was having a bit of fun.
Yes. This is just to double check it wasn't broken. Yep, there you go.
You can
It's brilliant.
You can have your watch back. Thank you very much. But if we're having fun with a little electrical device like this, imagine how much fun the young children will be having.
Yeah, so we've done that with 100 people in a room, and they love it because you can put all sorts of objects in between. You can have a tray of water. 2 people can put their fingertips in the water, and water conducts as well. So it all works.
Yeah. I just want to make different experiments and just see what else we can make. But of course, we've got the conductor. Now we've got a periodic table in front of us. I know you said we're not going to test me, but I do recognise hydrogen, helium, lithium,
I'll put it up.
beryllium,
There
you go.
Put it up to show because this is it's quite fun, isn't it?
So this is so at the moment we're based in Birmingham, and one issue we've had is how do we make what we do accessible to the whole of the UK? And we've come up with an online course. So this is part of the online offering that we're going to be doing, where parents can purchase one of these amazing boxes. It's huge. It's got so many things in there. And you get this beautifully crafted periodic table as well. And over 6 sessions, there's lots of little bits and pieces. So over 6 sessions, the kids learn about 13 different elements, and they actually then get to put on lots of cards of information on the elements that they're learning. So they have a beautiful crafted periodic table.
So each of these packs kind of refers to one of the fun, one of the
so on the
chemicals
packs,
on there.
You've got hydrogen, carbon, and helium on this one. So you've got some.
Let's have a look at that one.
So you've got some there. You've got gallium.
Okay, so
gallium, chlorine, and sulfur.
So which one?
So this is gallium. So you can make gallium. Basically, is a metal that melts in your hand.
Ooh.
Okay, but because it's very expensive, what we've got there is glue and all the materials that you need to make slime. So you can make gallium slime.
So you can make slime.
A slime that looks like gallium.
And then
add it to your periodic table.
I got it. So it's very interactive and really good fun.
So what happens when you mix baking soda with a test tube and plastic spoon?
Oh, with that, what they do is they get sent home a water weed. So the water weed we can't have with us because it's going to die if we leave it in the box.
Right.
So that gets sent separately to the families.
Okay.
And then that's an experiment that they do where they collect oxygen. So you see bubbles coming out.
You collect oxygen.
You collect oxygen.
You collect oxygen.
You collect oxygen. You do an experiment with a water
collecting oxygen now.
You can breathe it.
No, but I understand because as the tree is growing, it's giving off the oxygen, and then you can see the bubbles because it's giving off oxygen.
So that's the oxygen experiment.
That's quite exciting because you can physically see oxygen.
You can see the bubbles coming through.
And you never think about oxygen like that, do you? Because you're like, okay, I'm just breathing. It just happens.
But all water weeds, all plants in the water are giving off oxygen as well. So there's bubbles that you see are as a result of that.
Wow. Now, this looks like so much fun. Of course, you've got your lessons, you're holding sessions with kids, but you've also got a radio show that you do. Tell us about that.
I do, yeah. So Science with Sid is a radio show that I run every Thursdays between 3 and 5 p.m. on Unity FM. And basically, with that, we get interesting guests in. So December, our topic this year we've been big on space.
Okay.
Because space is 50 years since the moon landing. Yeah. It's also 150 years since the periodic table was first published. So periodic table is big as well. But with the space one, we've had a planetary researcher call in from California, so we had a Skype interview with her.
Right.
We've had an exoplanet researcher from the University of Birmingham, so he's found planets outside the solar system.
Amazing.
How amazing is that?
Wow.
So he's discovered 100 planets that exist outside the solar system.
It's amazing. It makes you feel quite small, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like we sit here and there's like a whole solar system and galaxy out there. And do you know what's really interesting though? Because yes, we're talking about quite chemistry-based sort of stuff here with Femtinos, but when it comes to science, it's so broad.
It is.
We're talking about space here, and we're talking about chemistry here, but biology is it's everything, basically.
It's everything. Everything that you do, everything that you see around you is science.
Yeah.
And one of our most famous workshops is the poo workshop, where the kids end up making poo at the end. So they learn about the digestive system. We use Fred to learn about the digestive system.
I'm intrigued. So what, you just send them to the...
I should have brought some with me.
Not real.
Not real. Not that we want to see it, but I suppose we just send them to the toilet afterwards.
I'm going to move this conversation on and ask what's next for you and where can people find out more about if they were interested in finding out more about
So if you want to find out more, it's femtinos.com. So if you go on there, type in Femtinos, Femtinos or Science with Sid. Sid is SYD. They can look at that. And everything's online, so they can reach out to me if they need any more specific information. But the online course is being launched in March, so that's you guys are the first to see this. No one's seen this yet.
How lucky! So we were the first ones to play around with it.
I know. I'm going to take one and just mess about with this now because it's making me feel like a kid again. I say kid. I was doing this at university.
I was going to say it's the scientist coming back from scientist to accountant, and you've brought him back to science.
Back to science.
That's quite a nice.
That's what it's all about.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
Like I said, once again, if people want to know more about Femtinos, if they want to enrol their children on your courses, how do they go about doing that?
So Femtinos.com. Femtinos, it's probably difficult to spell out, but it's FEMTINOS.com, or Science with Sid. Sid is SYD.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are off to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be speaking to Abra Hussain, the filmmaker. So we shall see you in just a moment.
Living the life.